I'm going to talk to you in this video about manipulative promises. Can promises be manipulative? You bet they can. So manipulators know how to manipulate you, the other person in the relationship, to get what they want. And what they're trying to do is, instead of asking you directly and giving you the opportunity to say no or say yes and maybe make your conditions or want something in return, but especially to not give you the opportunity to say no, they manipulate you. One of the ways that they do this is by knowing what you want. You see, sometimes they manipulate your fear or your guilt, but in this way, they know what you want. They know what you've been hoping for. They know what you've been holding on to the relationship in hopes of getting, especially if it's a dysfunctional relationship, which obviously it is, or there wouldn't be manipulation. But if it's a really dysfunctional relationship, they know what you've asked for. They know what your heart cries out for. So let's say one of the times that these promises come in is when you're starting to get a little bit strong in the relationship. You're starting to set a boundary. You're starting to doubt the person. You're starting to recognize the lies. You're starting to confront. You're starting to speak the truth. You're starting to pull back and detach emotionally. Well, the manipulator senses a change. They're smart. They're sharp. They're paying attention to this stuff. They know, they need to know right where they've got you at all times. So they sense this change in their relationships. And they'll start to see, oh, okay, this person's acting a little independent, a little more self-assured, not giving in quite so quickly. Maybe the person's going out a little more, or maybe the person is arguing a little more or speaking truth a little more, or maybe the person's actually saying, hey, I think you're manipulative. I don't like the way you just did that. And so when they sense this change and they start to feel a little bit insecure in the relationship, they've got to get power back. How do they do that? They manipulate you. What do? They give you what you want. They offer you a promise or a gift. They say things like, oh, want to have a baby? Want to get married finally? Want to get engaged? Let's go looking for houses this weekend. I'm going to get a job. Or, yeah, let's plan on moving back to where you want to live. Or, I'll start going to church with you, or let's go to therapy. Whatever it is, whatever you've been holding out for, it's going to be offered to you. Now, when that happens, you're thinking, whoa, wait a minute. I was getting stronger. I was kind of pulling back. I was thinking this wasn't going to change. Things aren't good. Maybe this relationship wasn't going to work out. And now, oh, I'm, maybe it is. Maybe I need to give it another chance. Maybe I need to trust this person. Or, oh my gosh, finally, I'm going to get what I want. And I've got to, I'm going to drop all of those feelings of my boundaries and all these things. And I just need to be, I just need to give my whole heart to this and give it another chance. Or this could be maybe not an intimate partner, but a child that you were getting ready to kick out of the house. And the child knows exactly when you're getting to the end of your rope. And the child is going to say, oh, yeah, I've got ideas for a job, or I've got ideas to start my own company, or, I've been talking to my friend and his dad's got a job in his company and that's coming up in a couple weeks. And I'm going to be going, I'm going to be, going with him to meet his dad and go try out this job. And you're like, oh, good. I'm not going to kick him out now, because now he's finally going to get a job. He's finally motivated. So, okay. Now, when you drop your guard, the problem is, for all of us in relationships, it takes energy to get to a point of setting a boundary. It takes energy to get to that point of saying, oh, I'm done. I'm going to quit doing this. And when we drop our guard and believe a promise, it sets us back. It sets us back because then we've got to go forward, wait, see the promise isn't done, isn't fulfilled. We got to go through the disappointment. We got to go through getting strong again. And that takes time, takes energy. So what you need to do when somebody gives you a gift or the promise of a gift or the promise of doing something in a relationship, when you see the dysfunction, is you got to realize that you're in a manipulative relationship. That person is likely manipulating you. You got to recognize that promises and gifts can be manipulative. You have to recognize that you need to go very slow with any changes. Instead of just dropping your guard completely and going back to the way you were, to where you're 100% trusting, 100% open, willing to do anything without limitations and boundaries, you need to go really slow. Maybe you need to make an adjustment and say, I'll give you 2 weeks to get that job, or maybe 2 weeks to start therapy. And if it's not, this is what I'm going to do. Or you can say that to yourself. Okay, fine. I'll give this person 2 weeks to follow through. And then if not, I'm going to go right back to where I was. And so you don't just drop your guard emotionally, but you go slowly. Okay. And you keep your protection up. You keep the boundary up. You keep the mindset up. That maybe this is another manipulation. You keep in mind how many unfulfilled promises you have had in the past, how many times you've heard this stuff and it hasn't happened. So that way you don't go back to ground zero where you're starting all over with complete trust and you got to go through that whole cycle again. So you need to take care of yourself in a manipulative relationship. You cannot allow yourself to continue to be manipulated, and you have to recognize that promises and gifts are just another form of manipulation, especially if this person has a track record of empty promises or manipulation in other ways. And this is the way that this person's going to get you to back down from setting some boundaries. So a couple of scriptures. Proverbs 11:3 says, the integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. Okay, it's like speaking out of both sides of your mouth. You say you promise, but you don't mean it. The next one is Proverbs 12:22. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in men who are truthful. So God is on your side. He does not like people who are liars or who are manipulating you through false promises. Thank you for watching this video on Change My Relationship. I hope you will watch more of my videos and you will check out my resources, books, studies, and free offers that I have for you available on my website. I do have a new 365-day devotional for Christians in difficult relationships that gives you a daily example, something like this in a reading. So also, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. You can send me an email through my website, changemyrelationship.com. Okay, God bless.